Hey guys, I'm back predicting another UFC card. Today, we got UFC 302 coming from Newark, New Jersey. The main event is Dustin Poirier taking on Islam Makhachev for the lightweight belt. And the co-main event is Sean Strickland taking on Paulo Costa. Let's make some predictions. Now, this is my third card that I've predicted, and my record combined on the last two main cards is 5-5. So we got some work to do. So starting out in the first fight, we got Randy Brown taking on ZDS. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't know too much about either of these guys, but I know Randy Brown's a pretty good striker, and ZDS is getting kind of old. I would imagine he tries to drag out this fight and go the distance, but I think Brown can knock him out here, so I'm picking Randy Brown. Up next, we got Jailton Almeida taking on Alexander Romanov. Now, Almeida was on a roll in his last few fights, but then he lost to Curtis Blades in UFC 299. Romanov used to be a super hyped guy, and now he hasn't fallen off, but he's not quite being talked about at the same level that he used to be. Now, even though Almeida lost his last fight, I think he's just straight up better than Romanov here. I think he's better striking, better grappling, and I think he's going to win probably by submission. Up next, we got Kevin Holland taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk, or however you say his name. Sorry if I butchered that. Polish names are tough. Now, Kevin Holland, another guy who fought on UFC 299, coming off a loss to Michael Venom Page in his debut. Good. Just Michael Venom Page was just better. But, sometimes that's how it goes. I think he can bounce back and take this one and get back on track. Maybe not toward a title fight, but getting up toward the top of the division again. In the co-main event, we've got Sean Strickland taking on Paulo Costa in a 5-round co-main. Now, this is a real exciting fight. Two pretty big trash talkers. Two guys that love to stand and just duke it out in the center of the ring. I can't imagine we see much, if any, grappling here. Strickland was the champion for a brief time until he lost it to Dricus du Plessis back in January. Strickland's best known for his boxing, and I would imagine that's how he tries to win this fight. Just keep peppering Costa with the jab, stay at range, stay out of Costa's power, and probably take him the distance. But Costa is a little bit more well-rounded. He can kick too, but again, boxing is probably the best way for him to go. If Costa can land a big shot or two, then he could come away with it here. But I'm going to pick Strickland. I think, he's been in the championship fights before. He's been in the big fights. I think he's just going to stay on the outside and avoid that big shot from Costa and can win by decision. And on to the main event. Dustin the Diamond Poirier taking on the champion Islam Makhachev in the lightweight division. Islam's been the champion for the last few years after defeating Charles Oliveira. Now, even though he's been champion for that long, he still hasn't defended the belt against a lightweight, seeing as he went up against Volkanovski twice, trying to move up from featherweight. Dustin Poirier is probably in his last chance here to become a champion. He's getting pretty old, and I think he knows it, and everybody knows it, that this is pretty much the end of the road for him. Now, Islam is pretty good all around. His striking isn't the best of the best, but his grappling is second to none. He's essentially Khabib 2.0. I mean, Dustin's no slouch on the ground either. I think he can defend himself well enough. I mean, look at what Islam did to Charles Oliveira. That was just a beatdown. Now, I think Dustin does have the advantage in striking, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to take down Makhachev. I would love to see Dustin finally pull off the guillotine to win the belt, as that's been kind of a running joke, but that's been a storyline of his whole career, is he keeps going for these guillotines, and he's never been able to put one away. So, maybe Saturday's the day. Who knows? Now, in picking a winner here, my brain says to pick Islam, but my heart says to pick Dustin. When I predicted UFC 299, I picked against Dustin. I thought he was getting too old, but he proved me wrong, and he's proved me wrong in the past before too. so I'm not making the same mistake again. Give me Dustin Poirier and new. He's finally going to win the undisputed belt, and I think he rides off into the sunset as a champion here. The diamond will shine.